January, my third favourite month of the year. What's not to love about it? Beach trips, the summer break, and of course the sun not setting till like 8 o'clock. Jackpot. To me, the start of the year will always be infinitely better than the end. And that's probably because all of the most dramatic news stories happen at the start of the year. I don't know, maybe it's the heat, I'm thinking it's the heat. And for the end of the year, just watch my December video, you'll understand. Anyway, even in my own life, some of the most weird, eventful stuff happens at the start of the year. Like, I remember last year,
I was just lying in my bed at like 2 a.m. fast asleep, and then my sister Mia bust down the door, and she was telling me about like how like there was piss on the floor in the bathroom, and she thought I did it, which I mean I didn't, but I couldn't think of anyone else who could do it to argue with her. And so after like 15 minutes, I realised that she wasn't going to let up, so I went over to the bathroom to clean it up like she was asking, and then it wasn't there. And I was like, what the fuck did you wake me up for then? And then she was like, no, it was there, it's just dried up now. And then she made me scrub it, and so then I tried to go back to sleep afterwards, and by then it was like 3:15, and it didn't work. I never fell back asleep that night.
And then fast forward to November this year, I'm at my girlfriend's house, and she's telling me about how
sometimes they accidentally leave the door open to the bathroom, and their cats get in there, and they piss on the floor in the bathroom. And so I'm like, shit, I wish I knew that then so I could argue with Mia. Maybe our cats did do that.
And on the 14th, I went to the mall where I got my hair cut, because before, my hair used to be a little bit lopsided, but then they got the right side cut to match the left, and now it was all one length. That's also around the time when I got my Beatles calendar, because I couldn't find anything else, and it looked neat. And then after that, my best friend's mum called and said I could come over that Friday, and I was hyped. But then the day after I got my hair cut, I caught a cold somehow, even though it was the middle of summer, so they had to reschedule it to the next Wednesday. But still, I had a great time, and then 2 days after that, I got really bored, so I snuck out of the house to see how long it would take my sisters to figure out that I left, and it took a little over 5 minutes, and I went on this big adventure, and once I got home, obviously I was in big trouble, but from then on, I had a big interest in going outside. And of course, I have to address the fact that the seasons are flipped down here from what the likes of you experience, so this is actually the middle of summer. But now that I'm actually in summer, I realise that the summer weather isn't actually that bad. Like, on those days where it gets up to like 40 degrees, that actually happens like only like maybe twice per month. And summer storms still happen occasionally. But what is it with those days where it's really cloudy, so the sun's blocked out, but no rain actually falls, and so you think you're safe from the sun, so you don't put any sunscreen on, but then, no, the sun rays were still coming through the clouds, so you get sunburn anyway. But hot and cloudy weather is still elite.
Especially the moment right before the sun gets covered up by the clouds. And always during summer break, into like the first month, you always eventually get into an argument with your parents about like how you're not pulling your weight around the house. And it's always also around this time when at the end of the month you go back to school, which is just the worst. Because like for you Americans who don't understand, this would be like if your school ended on June 15th and went back on like July 30th, or maybe like August 5th if you're lucky. So that's only like 47 to like 56 days of summer break. That's not even 2 months. That's the worst. And I can't talk much more about this because I'm about to go to sleep. And like I have my dreams at midnight. I can't miss that. I'd be having like the craziest dreams during the summer. So yeah, bye.